Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So one of the things that I've been noticing of late, ever since the health insurance CEO was murdered, gunned down in broad daylight by this guy, his name is Luigi Mangione. He's been charged with second-degree murder, 1 count, possession of a loaded firearm, 2 counts, possession of a forged instrument, 1 count, criminal possession of a weapon, 1 count. And the left, after Brian Thompson was gunned down in broad daylight, they were celebrating this health insurance CEO's death. And to me, that's psychopathic in nature, to celebrate one's death over the fact that we live in a democratic society. Sure, he may have been corrupt, but that's no excuse to feel joy or to be happy over a health insurance CEO's death or murder. To me, that again signifies that the left is really the party of psychopaths and evil, twisted, vile, disgusting humans. And one of those evil people happened to go on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Her name is Taylor Lorenz. For those of you that don't know who Taylor Lorenz is, she's apparently a journalist of sorts, rather left-leaning, and she got into a great deal of trouble. The kind of trouble I'm talking about, Vox Media has decided to stop producing her podcast and stop having her. They've cut ties with her, essentially, because of her comments, because she said on Piers Morgan to the entire world that her and most of other Americans feel a sense of joy that Brian Thompson was killed. And then she denied it. Then she just decides to gaslight everybody. And she realized she, messed up big time. You fucked up big time, man. You ever realize that? Like, she did. And she tried to gaslight everybody after saying what we all heard. And then the other leftist, black so-called professor who claimed to be self-righteous and intelligent during the interview, happened to try and defend her. Have a watch of this. It's incredible. It's an incredible exchange. And you guys tell me in the comments what you think she said, because I heard it clear as day and it was on repeat. Have a watch.
Happy with my mischaracterization of what you said and inferring that you were feeling joyful about what had happened to this guy. So we've got the clip and we'll just play it back just to remind you.
Mm-hmm. I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately, because it feels like...
Seriously?
I mean...
Joy at a man's execution?
Maybe not joy, but certainly not... certainly not empathy. This is literally...
So you felt joy? You felt joy.
That clip that you played that clip, because you'll see that I didn't
and then
say that
she
I felt
said
joy.
she misspoke and clarified.
Oh.
And I didn't say that I felt joy.
You don't think, Mark, it was more that she wished she hadn't said she felt joy? Because you suddenly realized how bad it sounded.
Why don't you listen to that clip again? Because I don't say that I feel joy in the man's death. I said I feel joy because, and that's exactly when you cut me off. And if you let me finish, I would say I feel joy. Piers, you don't know what was in my head.
That's not. She's right. She's right, Piers.
Bullshit.
She actually said, I feel joy, and then you interrupted her there. Perhaps, I don't know what she was going to say, but she certainly didn't get a chance to finish.
Well, the viewers can watch the whole thing in the right context.
And you may not realize this, but
we don't censor things here. Mark, I don't know why you're going out of your way to defend her, mate. Because Taylor, let's be honest, you know what you said. You wish you hadn't said it. Let me give Taylor an opportunity. Would you like to apologize for using the word joy?
Again, if you take the word joy completely out of context from the word that I said it,
would you like to?
It was because
would you like to
I'm so glad
apologize?
you just played the clip.
Yes or no?
You just played the clip that showed that I said I feel joy because, and that's right when you cut me off. So let me tell you why I feel joy. I feel joy because people like you, who are rich and powerful and on TV and have all the access to all the healthcare privileges in the world, are finally being forced to pay attention to the barbaric healthcare system that murders tens of thousands of innocent Americans. And that is what I feel joy in, that people like you are forced to confront those systemic problems. That's what I'm joyful.
Yeah, I knew it would be my fault as well at some stage.
Now, the thing is, Piers Morgan, yeah, I get it. The guy's rich. The guy can afford whatever he wants. Now, Taylor clearly said that she, amongst other Americans, felt joy. Now, she did say before that she does believe in the sanctity of life. But when it comes down to saying that you felt joy and the context surrounding what you said and why you're saying it, I get why Piers Morgan goes, you felt joy, because it sounded to me like you felt joy that this guy was killed and murdered in broad daylight. And because of this comment, right, Vox Media decided to go, nah, we're not going to be partnered with someone like Taylor Lorenz for saying something despicable as that. Why would you say that you feel joy over a man's death? Like, that doesn't make sense. It leaves a very, very poor taste in a lot of people's mouths if you are someone that believes in the sanctity of life. But the left, somehow they're going off and celebrating this man's death. It's just really, really strange to me. So ex-Washington Post reporter Taylor Lorenz told an outraged Piers Morgan during his show on Monday that she felt joy when United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot in New York City. I do believe in the sanctity of life, and I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately. So let's put that into a little bit of context, shall we? Why would you say that you feel joy after you said, I do believe in the sanctity of life, but I feel joy like so many other Americans? Unfortunately is the next statement. Why would you say unfortunately if you didn't mean that you feel joy over the death of Brian Thompson? You don't feel joy and then say, I unfortunately felt joy because of someone's death. You don't say unfortunately. Like, that to me just means that you are admitting to your own fault. You knew what you said, and at that time you're trying to correct yourself. That's why you said unfortunately. So she later tried to gaslight everybody by saying that that's not what I said. You're trying to deny that you didn't say joy, but then I know Piers cuts you off, but I don't think you explaining further would have helped your case. That's just my honest truth. And in you trying to explain why you felt joy afterwards, it didn't work, Taylor. Just in case you were wondering, everybody that watched it, including Vox Media, were going, this is not right. This is not acceptable. We can't be partnered with someone that says something like that. Taylor says, maybe not joy, but certainly not empathy later on in the clip. I watched the whole thing, right? I was watching the whole thing and I was actually shocked. I'm like, who do you think that you are to wish that someone would die first and foremost and then feel joy afterwards? That's next level crazy and psychopathic, if you ask me. How could this make you joyful? Piers asked. This guy is a husband, he's a father, and he's been gunned down in the middle of Manhattan. Why does that make you joyful? It feels like justice in this system when somebody responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of Americans suffers the same fate as tens of thousands of Americans, Taylor said. So you're putting the blame on tens of thousands of Americans' death because of one CEO. And to be honest, I don't believe that it is one person's responsibility. Like, it's not the Brian Thompson's fault, to be honest. Like, maybe he can take some responsibility, but still that doesn't mean that he deserves to die. I mean, come on. Tomi Lahren was also on the panel and said Lorenz went too far in saying she didn't feel empathy for Thompson. And Taylor laughed at Lauren's response. Taylor, I don't mean to be rude, but why the F are you laughing all the time? Piers said, I don't get it. Sorry, apologies for my language, but honestly, I find it unbelievable. What are you laughing at? It's sick. It's psychopathic. It really is. Why would you be happy that somebody is dead? You know, like, I get it. If a P-word individual does something to an innocent child, I believe justice is that person shouldn't exist. Doesn't mean that I'm excited or I'm elated that a person has lost his life. Doesn't mean that at all. I'm grateful that he's no longer around to do that to more kids. Doesn't mean I'm happy or I'm joyful. The loss of life is a horrible thing. Doesn't matter who you are. Just like have a little bit of empathy I guess. The man was a husband, he's a father, and you're blaming him for tens of thousands of Americans' death. The insurance game is a horrific one. I get it. Insurance companies are absolute bastards. I understand that. Same here in Australia. We hate them. Doesn't mean that the CEO deserves to be gunned down in broad daylight. That's just, oh boy. I'm glad that the cancel queen herself decides to cancel herself. It's not 2020, man. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.